My name is Kennedy Monari, I've been told, and today I'm going to present the reconciliation villages from the political economy analysis lens. So this it's a research that I conducted during my fellowship program at Makerere University under Rotary Peace Fellow. Um, so the presentation will cover the historical background to genocide in Rwanda and the reconciliation processes in the post-genocide era and the unique role of reconciliation villages and their sustainability. So Rwanda is a small landlocked country in the East Central Africa that is bordered by Uganda, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Tanzania. And historically, Rwanda has have had two main ethnic groups, that is the Hutu, who are considered majority, and the Tutsi, who are historically considered the minority. So there are also historical tensions that existed between these two main groups. And when Rwanda gained independence in 1962, the Belgium shifted power to the Hutus. However, the Belgium had implemented a racial classification policy that had favored the Tutsi, who were the minority. And this saw a seed of resentment among the Hutu majority, which culminated into a 1994 genocide that was triggered by the assassination of the then president, Juvenal Habyarimana. So what followed was uh, a brutal campaign aimed at exterminating the Tutsi population and resulted to a massive killings of Tutsi that stunned the world. So the reconciliation process in Rwanda focused mainly on restructuring Rwandan identity, as well as balancing truth, justice, peace, and the security of the country. So various measures were adopted by the government or post-apartheid government towards achieving the goals of both the perpetrators and the victims. However, reconciliation process faced enormous challenges, particularly in reuniting and rebuilding trust among the population that were deeply traumatized by the genocide events. So one of the notable mechanism that was adopted was the using of restorative justice mechanism and the establishment of the Gacaca courts. Gacaca courts was simply the traditional community justice system that sought to address the enormous backlog of genocide cases that could not be managed by the formal justice system. So through the Gacaca, the former perpetrators and the victims met face to face, allowing for confessions, forgiveness, and social healing or community healing. And also Gacaca courts also provide an opportunity for acknowledging the atrocity, fostering an environment where the former victims and the perpetrators could coexist. So one of the innovative approaches to reconciliation in the post-genocide Rwanda was the creation of reconciliation villages. So reconciliation villages is simply a community where the former perpetrators and the survivor live side by side. And the goal of the creation of reconciliation villages was to facilitate long-term reconciliation, fostering an environment for mutual support, understanding, and the social healing between the perpetrators and the victims. So this study, which I conducted, sought to understand the political and economic motive behind reconciliation villages, focusing on whether the initiative was organically community-driven, or it came from the people themselves, or it was shaped by the government and other external influences, and to the extent to which these initiatives reflect the authentic choices of the people, and whether it is it serves as an effective mediation spaces for both the survivors and the former perpetrators. The finding of the study revealed that while the perpetrators and the victims were open to the idea of living together, the structured nature and the resources provided by the government and non-governmental organization greatly influenced them to live side by side. So creation of reconciliation villages was a political strategy that the government used to reinforce unity. Now that in the post-genocide Rwanda, the society was severe traumatized. There was a deep-rooted distrust among the population. So the government saw a need of a structured initiative in aiming at to promote cohabitation and shared identity. So that's why reconciliation villages were formed. And some of the initiatives that the government used was to foster social cohesions. And the post-genocide Rwanda government, they had a vision of a unified national identity that transcended ethnic divisions. So that's why they wanted to do away with ethnic classification, or that that had its root from the colonial legacy, and also the National Unity and Reconciliation Commission was also formed to promote a unified ethnic identity among the population that were greatly affected by the genocide. And also, it was showing the commitment to reconciliation through peace-building initiative that the government used. And now, some of the economic motives. Now, in the aftermath of genocide, both former perpetrators and survivors faced extreme poverty. There was inadequate housing, there were limited economic opportunities, and when the government now created reconciliation villages, they were able to provide provided the economic empowerment, vocational training, and housing to the victims of the perpetrator, which also serve as a motivation that compelled them to live side by side. Now, factors that influence sustainability of reconciliation villages, I think some of them are political and some of them are social, which I've already explained. And it greatly enhanced the acceptance and the effectiveness of the reconciliation villages, because in the reconciliation villages, both victims and perpetrators are able to access to social services, the access to the regular dialogue and facilitated dialogue sessions and mediation among the perpetrators, let me use former perpetrators and the victim. So those are the key stakeholders. The supporting reconciliation villages, the strong commitment 1 minute, please. Strong commitment from the government. And then we have local community-based organization. We have also non-governmental organizations such as Prison Fellowship. They provide both economic and also the social services to the both victim and survivors. So the reconciliation is new spaces of mediation, and the lesson learned. The reconciliation village does not only serve as the places of residence, but is also a unique space of mediation that foster long-term interaction among the victims and survivors. So unlike the typical mediation, where it is formal and short-term dialogue, reconciliation villages provide long-term interaction, fostering social healing. So let me end at that because of time, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kennedy. I know it can be hard to keep to the time, so we appreciate it.